Today I wanted to do an updated video showing how to enable USB Debugging Mode on Android. This is something that I have already done here on the channel, but that was uploaded 7 years ago, and since then Android has changed a lot. The quality of that video isn't the best either, with the lighting being problematic for some people. So if you have ever needed to execute an ADB command on your smartphone or tablet, then you must first enable what is known as USB Debugging Mode. Android has disabled this feature by default because it allows people with local access to your device to change many of its settings, and as a result can become a security hole for your device. It's usually not recommended that you keep this feature enabled all the time, so once you're done using it, it is best to disable that toggle. Now, before we can enable USB Debugging Mode, you must first unlock the Hidden Developer Options menu. This is commonly referred to as Developer Mode, and enabling it involves different steps for smartphones and tablets from different OEMs. Now, if you're not familiar with how to enable developer mode on your specific device, then be sure to check the video description below, as I'll have separate links for those with Samsung, Google, and Xiaomi phones. Once developer mode has been enabled, you will be able to find the Hidden Developer Options menu within the Settings application. Now again, its specific location will be different depending on which phone you have. So the best way to find it is to use the search box at the top of the Settings app, and then search for the word Options. You should see Developer Options in the results, and tapping on it will take you to this menu that is only available after you have enabled Developer Mode. Once you have located the Developer Options menu, you're going to want to scroll down a little bit until you find the debugging section. This should be relatively close to the top of this menu, and once you're in the debugging section, the first option that you should see will be labeled USB Debugging. This toggle is going to be disabled by default, and we can begin to turn it on with a simple tap on that toggle. Don't forget to confirm that you want to enable this feature if you see a pop-up appear, since canceling it out will keep the feature disabled. Now you may think that you're done here, but there's actually a couple more things that we need to do. Most of you are going to be enabling USB Debugging Mode on Android in order to execute some ADB commands. But even after we enable this toggle, ADB is not going to be able to connect to our device properly. So the next step is going to be to connect your smartphone or tablet to the PC with a USB cable, and then open up a command prompt, a Windows PowerShell, or a terminal window within the same folder as our ADB and Fastboot tools. If you have not installed ADB and Fastboot tools to your computer yet, then I'll have a link below that shows you all of the steps involved in getting that set up. With that window open and with our phone connected to the PC with a USB cable, we need to type out the command ADB space devices. Executing that command will start up the ADB service, and that will prompt a connection request with any Android smartphone or tablet that's connected to your computer. If we have USB Debugging Mode enabled, like we have here, ADB will then check to see if we have access or not. So if this is your first time enabling this toggle, then when we execute the ADB devices command, like I'm doing right now, then we should see a prompt appear on our smartphone or tablet asking us to either grant or deny USB Debugging Mode access. Many people will choose to select the Always Allow from this computer option so that its credentials are saved onto our device, and so we don't have to constantly grant this access. But that choice is up to you. From here, we're going to need to tap on Allow so that our specific computer is now granted USB Debugging Mode access to our smartphone. With all of that done, we are finally finished setting up USB Debugging Mode on our device. After access has been granted, we can then drop into an ADB shell or execute any other ADB commands that we need to. I hope this has helped anyone who has needed to enable this feature on Android. It may seem like a lot of steps are involved here, and that is actually by design. This is not something that you want enabled by default. And again, it isn't recommended that you keep this feature turned on all the time. So when you are done with USB Debugging Mode, don't forget to go back into the Developer Options menu to disable this toggle.